What is going on, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation starts right now on a Thursday, on a Fleet Thursday, on a March Madness Thursday. Myself and Chop, we're going to be here first hour and 15, give or take. Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, taking you guys home for crunch time tonight. Chop, I imagine we have at least one eye on what's going on as far as the madness. I think Duke's going to hold on. They had a bit of a scare there against Siena. Currently up 4 with 10 seconds to go if my scoreboard is correct. So it looks like they are going to hold on. Is your bracket still perfect? Has it been busted? We're just talking to producer Steve pre-show. You know, a couple L's early. Chop, happy Thursday. How are things?
What's up, Dean? Just chilling Thursday. Watching some good basketball on TV right now. About to talk about some bad basketball, but you know, it all whatever. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do the thing today.
Yeah, the bad basketball can like destroy the good basketball. It's just I understand what you're saying though. If they actually played each other, but yes. Well, I will say this: it's a 6-game slate, right? DK FanDuel, they said, "Screw you, Jazz. We're not even going to consider talking about you in the back half of a back-to-back, especially when you're playing Milwaukee." And Milwaukee's finally woken up and said, "Oh, maybe we should start losing some games." Took them a while to get there, but Milwaukee has finally figured that out. And we don't worry about the Kings either. The Kings in the late slate. It's a 6-gamer. It's an interesting setup, right? It's 2 games early, 2 games in the 7 o'clock window. One game, one team. I don't think you can ignore the Pistons. They're taking on the Wizards. They're without Kate Cunningham. He's got a long. And then there's 4 games after that, all in the same exact time slot, 8 o'clock. And there's 5 players that are important players. There's more than 5, but 5 that are really important that are questionable. Spider, midday downgrade. We're not sure if he's going to let us know if he's going to play or not tonight against Chicago, but he's got an eye. He's got an eye. I think he took a bow to the eye. In the Lakers, they got him really, really late or really early, depending on how you want to phrase that, in Miami. Played last night. Seems like a good chance that they're going to sit their guys. Luka, Reeves, LeBron, all questionable. LeBron revenge. I don't know if he's going to get any. Miami also like a 6-point favorite. Suggests to me that the shenanigans might be abound. We're probably going to get at least 1, possibly 2, and just screw it. They might just say no half measures and roll them all out and just punt the game off. And then Kawhi spent last night in New Orleans. They took on the Pelicans. They got whooped pretty good by New Orleans. Now they're running it back tonight. He's officially questionable as well. So 5 big injuries that are worth monitoring. I don't know if or when we're going to get that news. Well, we'll get it at some point. Do we get it before 7 o'clock? I don't know. And then Wendell Carter got ruled out, which is kind of important because now it might be Gogo Batadze season. That's the tricky thing because centers, Jalen Duren looks awesome. Batadze looks like a really, really good value. Diabate looks fine as a legit value for Orlando. Mobley, I guess you can play him at power forward, so I shouldn't throw him in the conversation. Hey, you know what? You know who's not going to get played? Just not going to get played? Victor Wembanyama. Just not going to get played in this slate. And if all those Lakers are ruled out, DeAndre Ayton's going to project really well too, because somebody is going to have to shoot for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I like Isaiah Jackson as a cheapie as far as center. Center's going to be tough. And on DK, I would imagine, I assume, I'm probably going to end up with 2 in every lineup I make. The utility spot most likely covered by a center. Chop, you have any takeaways? By the way, you're probably watching the madness all day. Anything we should monitor? Anything going down? Anything going forward? Any big takeaways from the tournament? Is Duke, are they frauds? I guess they're hurt, right? Is that the main issue?
I told you that last show, Dean.
I know.
I don't think they're going to advance too far. I mean, it's not a terribly bad bracket for them, to be honest with you. But I don't think they're good. I don't think they're Final Four good. When they face like a legitimate team, I think they get beat if their guys aren't healthy. So, I don't know. It is what it is so far. I kind of knew some of these games were going to be nice and tight. It's a couple buzzer beaters for you. So it's been fun. But, the first round is always a little weird till we weed out some of the bad teams. So see how it plays out. It's been fun so far.
All right. As for the slate, we do have plenty of time, by the way, just 6 games, so we can sort of pace ourselves, take some time, a little bit of a sidebar if necessary, whatever's on chat's mind. Feel free to ask your questions. Discord channel, again, once we get 20 likes, which shouldn't be difficult. I guess people are probably watching a lot of the basketball, but I think it's 20 is the threshold for today's first clue for Fleet Thursday. Do not guess in the YouTube. I mean, you can get your reps in. Well, there you go. There is our first clue. It's dropping right now. The sound confirms it. No gong today. Producer Steve keeping us on our toes. Right, there we go. What else do we have there, Steve? We got the gong. We got the bongos. Okay. What is that? What was that sound, Chop? I got to hear that again.
It's a gunshot.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just a default sound in here. We got.
I like that one for some reason. I don't know why. But there you go. Get the Discord channel. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. The live stream chat. Live stream chat. Tell me what athlete with Fleet I'm talking about. If you're the first person to do so, only one guess per clue drop. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Some guesses coming on through. It is not Walter Payton or Aaron Donald or Emmitt Smith, but there you go. I see why people are guessing those types of players. Chop, what is your mode of attack as far as this slate? Because it's tricky. Initially, this is a big picture conversation real quick before we dive in. I was just like, I'm not going to play Orlando Charlotte because I think their shenanigans abound in the back four games, specifically Lakers, possibly Clippers. It is not Antonio Gates, but yes, you are on the right track there, Chop. I just suspect the Lakers are going to pull some shenanigans. I don't know that. And then, Orlando, Charlotte is fine-ish. It's okay. But then they rule out Wendell Carter, and I'm like, oh, man, now is a Gogo Batadze season. He's center and center only. They're without Isaac, so his minutes should be a little bit more secure. They can only play Mo Wagner so much. So I'm not sure if I'm going to cross that game out. It's just kind of like my conundrum, the initial plan. And you don't have to play Washington. I guess you can play Shinpenny, who projects pretty well. But Detroit is just going to be hard to ignore. The absence of Cade Cunningham, the matchup versus Washington is the old perfect storm. They do have plenty of guys. Like, we're only projecting Durant for 28 minutes, but he averages, I think, 1.5 fantasy points per minute without Beef Stew and Cunningham this season. And again, did I mention they're playing the Wizards? Do you have any general thoughts on that, Chop, when it comes to lineup construction? And who knows if and when we get the news, we might get the stuff earlier, and it's just kind of an afterthought, but I'm waiting. I think there's a decent chance Mitchell sits. I think there's a pretty good chance we lose at least 1, 2, possibly all 3 Lakers, and then Kawhi, who knows?
No motive, no motive attack, Dean. Nothing. Just play the best players. I don't know. I think everything's up in the air still, man, because I do think there's going to be some shenanigans here as far as some players sitting that we don't know about just yet. So I'm not willing to commit to any type of lineup build right now or anything. I'm just creeping around, looking at the projections, looking at the players, and trying to piece things together. But I do think it's one of those slates where more than likely I don't think I have to dig into like the micro matchups too much, because the value is going to present itself here in a little while. It's pretty overwhelming. So, right now I think it's more about who do I want to fade than who do I want to play.
Huh. When it comes to what? When you're talking about what? As far as the stars?
No, just looking at the ownership right now. I'm looking at ownership. I don't know if my last round of ownership that I refreshed on the lineup HQ and then I put it on my sheet was Gogo over 50%, Chris Dunn 38, Jenkins 30, Jordan Miller 27. They're assuming Kawhi's out. Like, I'm looking at that, I'm saying, well, how out of all that kind of stuff right there, what do I want to fade? Who do I need to have out of that, and who can I fade out of all that? So I'm just looking at who can I fade right now.
If Chris Dunn holds at 38%, I mean, I'm not playing Chris Dunn. Like, that seems like the worst play of the bunch that you mentioned. You ran off a bunch of names, and again, we're 2 hours out. News can come in and flip the slate multiple times, but if that holds in any capacity, I don't think I'm playing Chris Dunn at veteran back half of back to back. Yeah, the match was fine versus New Orleans, but I guess it can change if we lose Kawhi. We're currently projecting Kawhi in, but again, that would have a meaningful impact on the Clippers. Anything else you want to say as far as the slates, or just dive on in? You want to do the old game by game deal?
Let us go ahead and Greg Louganis this thing.
Still think we have to update that.
Did I get you with the hand movement too there?
I saw you out of the corner of my eye. Yes. You were diving. I see you diving over there. Pistons.
Little known fact, Dean. Little known fact.
The
Chop Man. I have never actually done a dive, a full-fledged dive.
Not as a child?
Never. Like when you go this way and you go head first into the thing and you got a nice straight, like you go straight. I've never done that.
Is you're afraid like it might not go right, or what? Just no particular reason?
Just never found the necessity to dive. I've always just been a jumper. I just jump in, man. Just jump.
You're more of a cannonball guy.
Yeah, I'm a cannonball, whatever. Like, feet first, pointy feet, go straight down to the like that kind of. But I've never done the head first.
Okay.
Thing dive, but maybe one day I'll do it. But I really don't see the need for it, though, to be honest with you.
I think it's especially if it's a shallow pool. Like I don't know. I think it's more of like if you're higher up, but I don't know. I don't know the physics of that. I did not know there would be math. Steve wants to know if you ever jumped off a high dive.
Yes.
A local pool, like 20 feet or something, or
definitely jumped off some high dives. The one growing up, there was they had a really, really high dive at the neighborhood pool. I've been off that, so I got used to that when I was a kid. And then, jumped off of some down here in Texas. There's a lot of good river, like the Guadalupe River. You get some good deep parts, and you can get up into some trees on the banks, and you can just dive the hell way off. Not dive technically, but you can jump off of them from way up. So yeah, I've done some high jumping. I'll call it high jumping, not high diving, because I haven't dived. But
high jump's a different thing. It's a winter. It's a summer event.
True, in the context of the rivers. But yeah, I've definitely gotten up into some elevation, but never dove, man.
Well, there's still time. We can still cross that off the old bucket list.
You got to watch out, Dean. When you're in the rivers in Texas, you got to watch out for diving or going too far under, because there is a brain-eating amoeba that lurks in the mud sometimes, and it's a rare instance, but you can get the amoeba up your nose, and when that happens, you will die. So you got to be careful in the rivers of Texas with the muddy bottoms.
Well, I mean, I'm going to cancel my vacation now. That you've scared me.
It's very rare, Dean. It's very rare. Don't get me wrong. You gotta really push to get these amoebas. If you really, otherwise you're good.
It's a risk reward thing, and I don't know if the upside's so great jumping in the Guadalupe River. But the Pistons are taking on the Wizards, 231.5. I think the Wizards are the only team in the slate we're talking about, the 6-gamer, that is actively trying to lose, right? Like the Bulls probably should be, but they're kind of pot committed to what they've been doing. So like, there's not a lot of shenanigans, but you got the Wizards with their shenanigans. Everybody else trying to win. Everybody else is trying to win. New Orleans is another pick. They don't really care. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Chicago, they're kind of in no man's land now as far as the tankathon. Washington, who's in and who's out for Washington? Sarr is available with his big toe. Trae Young, of course, he's not allowed to play. He's got a quad. They're playing 5 games this week, Washington. This is the I think they're playing 5. I'm making that up. I thought they were playing 5 this week. I'm pretty sure that's certain. It doesn't matter. They're playing tonight. That's all we care about, right? Leaky Black is still out. Bilal Coulibaly is out. They got bursitis on him, so he's not available tonight to play basketball. Davis, George, those guys aren't playing, of course. Pistons, I said it before, the big one, Cunningham, he might even be out in the playoffs. Like, who knows? Like 2 weeks they're saying they're going to evaluate him. I would imagine he's done for the regular season. Hopefully he gets better there with his collapsed lung. Beef Stew also out with his calf. We're projecting Jenkins, Robinson, Oscar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren to draw the start. And again, I mentioned before, Duren only projected for 28 minutes. They don't really push him too hard. There's the threat of a blowout. Detroit's 13, 14-point favorite. This matchup is so amazing, averaging 1.5 fantasy points per minute, We're giving him 28 minutes, and that's still enough to crush. Again, the tricky part, talking about all the centers that are sort of popping up and looking pretty good as pretty good values and can get even better if we lose all the Lakers. I think it's kind of impossible to not play somebody in the Pistons because there's a lot of cheap guys as well, be it Jenkins, much cheaper on DK than he is on FanDuel, LeVert, Sasser. If this game fully blows out, I think you can go Paul Reed. He's a guy that can kind of get there in 20 minutes if this game gets goofy. I think you wrote up Tobias Harris, specifically on FanDuel at 5.5. That seems like a really, really solid price. Don't love it as much on DK at 6K. But, yeah, talk to me about the Pistons. How much are we liking the Pistons in this matchup without 1.5 key pieces?
Yeah. So let me type for. I'm gonna type.
What are you typing?
I'm typing something for you in the private chat, Dean.
Okay. Is this the Fleet Thursday or is this something totally different? What are we doing here? Are you more places I should not go to on vacation?
No, I'm just clarifying something I said earlier, Dean. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to shackle myself to just one guess.
You're setting up your future guesses. This is pretty funny.
I'm gonna get it today. I just need to know what clue 2 is, but we're good here. All right.
It's gettable. It's gettable today.
Yeah, for sure gettable. All right. Detroit against Washington. Yeah. Riley, Riley's solid, decent player right there. You can go that route, or Champagny. You can go that route too for Washington. Those are the only 2 Washington guys I'm even remotely thinking about. They got pretty nice price tags, and you just, they stink. Washington stinks, but those are 2 guys who could get there theoretically. So I'm on that one. Detroit side is definitely a lot more plays that you want. Now, I wrote in the survey, in case anybody reads that kind of stuff.
I read it.
I didn't want to go I don't want to do too many Detroit. I don't know what the optimals are saying, but I got to imagine they're probably trying to push a lot of Detroit guys on you because of the Cade Cunningham thing. So I'm a little bit I don't know. I don't want to go too many Detroit guys. I don't want to go too much Detroit chalk, but I do see the merit in some of the guys. I do think Dennis Jenkins is a total value play, really good value play at 5K. He's going to play point guard for this team in the absence of Cade Cunningham. So, and it's against Washington. So Jenkins is a guy I could play. Karis LeVert, I think, is gathering right around the second most ownership on this team. Don't like that one, man. That's some chalk I can definitely fade. Jalen Duren, we were on the show Tuesday in the very same matchup, and we talked about it. He's just awesome. And he's even more awesome tonight, given that Cade Cunningham is out. So, he put up 57, I believe it was, last game against Washington on Tuesday night. He could do the same thing tonight for 8,800. No doubt about it.
36 and 11 he dropped on him.
Alsir Thompson, I don't think the absence of Cade Cunningham or anything kind of elevates him any more than normal because he's a defensive-minded guy anyway. But the matchup is good regardless because it's Washington who's going to be very loose with the basketball and give him an opportunity to put up some big defensive stats. I mentioned Tobias Harris in the survey just as strictly a leverage play because it doesn't seem like anybody wants to play. If our projected ownership is correct, which I tend to think we do a pretty good job at RG, he's a very low-owned guy. Now, he is a guy who should benefit from Cade Cunningham being out. So maybe that's a little leverage play off of some of these other guys. Like Sasser, I'm just not going to play Sasser. I think I could see him not benefiting a whole lot tonight from that. And so I'm definitely not playing Duncan Robinson. So, yeah, I think, a little leverage to Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren crush, Dennis Jenkins value. I think the makings are there, but I can certainly fade the majority of this Detroit chalk.
It's a little bit different as far as where you're shopping. Sasser expected to be very popular on FanDuel, where he's 3.9. Tobias Harris also much more popular over there, where he's 5.5. He's 6K on DK, which is not, you can get there, I suppose, but not as palatable. General rule we always talk about how if they're cheaper on FanDuel than they are on DK, they're probably a value on FanDuel. Yeah, Harris is not going to be all that owned on DK. I'm not sure if I'm getting there either at 6K. I suppose he can, give you like a 15, 5, and 5 and a couple stocks and he's got to give you like 35, 40, I think, which he certainly can. But he's not projected to do that. Jenkins much better on DK than he is on FanDuel. Jenkins 5K, probably one of your first players you're playing in cash on DK. On FanDuel, not necessarily. Not necessarily, and the ownership's going to reflect that. More of a tournament guy with error. He's like at 5% or so because the price is distinctly different. He's 6'3". You asked about how many are landing in lineups. So I ran some optimal stuff. I added some variants. It depends. It's interesting. My first DK lineup only has 1. My second one has 2. My third one has 1, then 0, then 4. So like it's close. Jenkins appearing to be the most popular one as far as lineups I'm making. Then Duran, then Levert. This is DraftKings. Those are the 3 most popular pretty clearly on DK. We talked about Harris being probably too expensive for cash game stuff, for optimal stuff, but of course in play for tournament stuff on DK. On FanDuel, Sasser, most popular play, then Asar. Then Duran, 1 center on FanDuel. 1 center. You can't screw this up. And he's got with all the value out there, like one of those guys is going to get there as far as one of the cheapies. So Duran's got to put up like 50 points on FanDuel. If he puts up 40, it's not going to hurt you necessarily, but one of those value guys is going to put up 30 or so. If it's not Goga Batase, it's going to be Paul Reed. Or if it's not Paul Reed, it's going to be Isaiah Jackson. I think one of those guys gets there. And again, things can change if the Lakers roll already out, and all of a sudden DeAndre Ayton is going to be forced to shoot a ton. Not necessarily a great matchup, but he should have some volume if nothing else. FanDuel, by the way, a first lineup for FanDuel for me has 3 Pistons, and then 2, and then 3. So yeah, 2 or 3 and most. There's 1. There's no like for sure you got to play them. And there's even some guys off the reservation, like we're saying. Sasser projects pretty well. Like you can play Duncan Robinson. Like why can't he hit like 6 or 7 threes? That's something he definitely can do. And he's not projecting very strongly. And neither is Holland, Herter, Green. We saw Green take a hit as far as minutes last time. Those are like large field stuff. But like you got to figure one of these cheap players gets there, if not more than one, for Detroit against Washington. I just want to touch on, I think you mentioned them, Chop, for Washington. Okay, it's kind of pumped down a little bit. I know the projection was higher earlier today with Shenpenny. We're giving him 26 minutes, about a 20% ownership on DK. They have 11. I think they have 11, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a chance we lose some though with like games counts and all that kind of stuff because we're counting Reese and we're counting Cooper. And it's possible when those guys are inactive. But yeah, it's not like they're down to 8 or 9 or 10 for Washington just yet. But you got anything else as far as Pistons and Wizards, or shall we scoot along?
We scooting along like Scoot Henderson.
Like Scoot Henderson. Second game in the slate. Second game at 7:00 again. 2 games at 7, 4 games at 8, and that is our slate. The Magic and the Hornets, a meaningful game, right? Magic Hornets. 227.5 is the total. Charlotte is a 5-point favorite. Taking a look at the current standings, Orlando's in the 6th spot. They really don't want to fall behind and let the Heat or Atlanta or even Philly or possibly Charlotte jump them. We talk about this all the time. The 10 teams are essentially a certainty right now in the East. Charlotte currently in the 10 spot. You got to assume they want to probably can't jump to the 6, but it's pretty compact. Orlando to Charlotte's 3 games, 6 to 10. Plenty of time to make that up. But both these teams certainly would want to grab the W here. Who's in? Who's out? Black is still out for Orlando. That's been the case for a while now. We mentioned Isaac Jones is not playing. Wendell Carter is not playing for Orlando. Did I say Isaac Jones? Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, I got my Isaacs confused. Isaac Jones is a person for the Pistons.
The Isaac brothers.
Well, no, I don't think they're brothers. One's the first name, one's the last name. I don't think there are. There's a lot of brothers tandems in the NBA, but I don't think they are brothers because, yeah. Did I get the rest of the injury report? I'm not sure if I said it all. But yeah, Orlando. No Wendell Carter. That's important. No Franz Wagner. Speaking of brothers, brother Mo can only play so much. I think he's played 20 is the most he's played the entire season. So you got to figure Goga's got a good shot at playing at least 20 minutes tonight. A little bit tricky. And again, no Jonathan Isaac, who would steal some backup 5 minutes. For Charlotte, nothing new. They are one of the healthiest teams in the league. Anybody of notes is available. We're not going to say Salon's available. He's out. I mean, he's not of notes either. So, yeah, fully healthy Charlotte team. Orlando a little bit dinged. Is Goga Batadze good chalk? Is that good chalk? I think is a big question on this slate.
You want me to answer that, Dean?
Please.
So I'm leaning towards fading Goga. I'm leaning towards fading, especially at that incredible ownership. And Dean, I'll tell you why. I think he's a dynamic fantasy player when he gets minutes and opportunity. Like we've seen that from him before. But you know who else is a really fantastic per minute performer when he gets an opportunity?
Paul Reed, Isaiah Jackson.
Wrong. But that's fine, Dean.
Well, they are.
Good guesses. Good guesses.
You were thinking something else.
Yes. Khalil Ware.
Mm.
And remember, we had this conversation on Tuesday. Ware was without Bam, and he was super chalky and all this upside and all that. And we made it a point. We, really meaning me, I told you, but we'll say we made it a point to let the peoples know Diabate is a very, very stringent defender.
He's tough.
He's stringent. He objects stringently, okay, to any movement in that paint. He's tough. He shut down Khalil Ware. If he could shut down Khalil Ware, who got like a total egg put on him, like that was terrible performance by him.
He's raw. He's got length, but yeah,
he could still do. He could do that to Goga if things lined up well for him, and he didn't get in foul trouble and all that other stuff. So they're different players. They're different players, but it could definitely. He's a good defender. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the fade. Wouldn't be that big of an issue for me if the ownership wasn't 50+%. If it was reasonable, then I'd say, oh man, yeah, I could play 3,600 for Goga. That's fine. He has upside. At 53 though, I'm much more likely to feel like he's not going to put up a performance that's going to crush me in tournaments, but he could put up a performance that crushes 50% of the field that has him, if he doesn't go well. So if things don't go well. So, I'm kind of leaning towards the fade. And other than that, this game looks pretty not so great. It's not, Charlotte plays at a slower pace. They kind of spread things around on their offensive side, and Orlando is an okay offense. They've definitely improved this year. They've definitely improved over the last month and a half or so, but still, you got to go at Charlotte's pace, and they have guys that they can spread it around too, Banchero and Bain and Suggs and stuff. So, generally speaking, the ownership reflects my opinion outside of Goga. The ownership says not a lot of people are going to be on this game. Neither am I. A lot of people will be on Goga, though. I won't. So that's just kind of where I stand with this thing.
Yeah, I'm still debating going back and forth, but I kind of don't want to play Goga either. There's also pass where he's not playing more than 22 minutes. I know we're projecting 22. I suppose he can play more as well. You can get some, like this game can go smaller. We can get like Banchero playing the 5. Again, Mo Wagner can only play basically 20. There's 28 more minutes to go around. Like Isaac not being there is a nice loophole for Batadze. But I agree, but Diabate is tough. They're the best rebounding team in basketball right now. I think I'm pulling up the last 15 minutes, last 15 game stuff. Let's see. They're top 5. Pace-wise, last 15 games, Charlotte is, the third slowest team. Defensively, these two teams are both, 6'7"? 6'7". Are the kids still doing that? You tell me, Chop. Let me know in chat. I don't think – I feel like that's gone. They're 6'7" as far as defensive rating, Orlando and Charlotte. But, I'm mostly hoping this game is quiet. That's been the plan. Again, these teams want to win. The prices are kind of where they should be. Somebody was asking about LaMelo in chat. Do you have an official take on LaMelo Ball? It sounds like you're not terribly in on it. Wouldn't besmirch, but
he's 8,800. There's several several players in that price range that I like more than Ball. So not that he's a bad play, but it just doesn't jump out for me over. We just talked about during that, like 88, 8,900 or something like that. I'd much rather go there. And we're going to talk about some other guys here in a little bit. So it's not that he's a bad play. He just doesn't like jump out for me. So he's fine.
Diabate is a stringent. Are you going to say stringent or are you going to say?
Come on, Clue. I got to guess. I'm going to queue up my guess. What's the available? Oh, no.
Available.
What the hell does that mean?
Available. What do you think it means?
I don't know. I have to
Recently divorced, possibly.
Oh, shoot.
I wouldn't say that if that's what it was, right? I'm just trying to throw it off. All pro and available. The first two clues. I would say that I was going to say rigid for Diabate. You're saying stringent, but you're going to say rigid. Either way, I want to avoid his defense. Do we talk about the possibility of playing Diabate? I think he's in the pool. Mr. Richards said 6'7" is still a huge thing, and I believe Mr. Richards is actually a teacher, so he would know. Now, is it high schoolers or is it middle schoolers? And we talk about you have kids. Are they still saying around the house, Chop? The 6'7" soul thing. It's
no, not around my house. They had their little like. It was a phase for a while. I haven't heard that in quite a while though. So my guess would be it's not really that big of a thing. But maybe Mr. Richard is dialed in more than me on that.
Maybe it's a regional thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
I thought it was mostly over, but I'm not as locked in. Elementary school. Yeah, the elementary school kids, I can see that they're still saying it. The high school kids is too cool now, I would imagine. Mr. Irrelevant says it slowed significantly. So there you go. All right, good to know. Like once like people like me started saying it, it's over. It's like that's and then now it's no longer cool. Orlando, Charlotte, we're moving on. That's it.
Moving on, Dean.
It is not Julius Peppers. It's not Julius Peppers. That's a good guess, though. It's a good guess. Is he a free agent, Julius Peppers?
I think so. I think he's
Does he still play football? I think he does, right?
Well,
is he retired?
If he does not play football, then he is available.
Okay, just asking. I feel like he could have retired, and I just don't know that. But maybe I'm not sure what. Somebody let me know in chat if Julius Peppers is officially signed on some team, if he's retired. I don't know. The Cavs take on the Bulls. 238.5 is the total. The Bulls are. Oh, Mr. Relvin says he's 46. So I guess he's definitely retired. He's available, I guess.
He could probably still play ball.
Why would you guess Julius Peppers? I
thought available doesn't, because you just said, Dean, available doesn't necessarily mean.
Yeah.
Like it could mean something totally different.
All
pro could mean something different than what we all think it means right now.
Yeah, it could.
But you're sneaky, you're shaky with these clues sometimes. So I'm just trying to like.
Yeah, but then when you're just flat out saying it, then like you don't believe that I'm saying it. So that's kind of like what we've set up with previous games. Cavs, Bulls, 238.5 is the total. The Cavs are 10-point favorites here versus Chicago. Chicago is playing. They're playing the back half of a back-to-back. Cleveland, they're not on the front end, right? No, I don't believe so. Big one is that Mitchell Spider. He's got an eye, right? So he's questionable. Jared Allen, of course, is still out with his knee. Craig Porter, he's got that groin. He cannot play with his groin. He's unavailable. And the Bulls, they're pretty healthy. They're pretty healthy these days. Well, I shouldn't say. Sexton is back. Jalen Smith, back half of a back-to-back. He may sit. I guess that's somewhat meaningful. Okoro's out once again, did not play last night. And Simons is still out. He's dealing with that fracture. And Jaden Ivey, of course, is still out too. So, yeah, I don't know why I said that. Nothing's really new, but with the exception of we might get Jalen Smith rolled out here on the back half. They've been running Giddey into the ground. Again, I don't know if they're aware how lottery picks work, but, yeah, the Bulls have been playing their guys basically for the most part, but they're kind of stuck in no man's land. They're in the 9 spot. They're not going to catch 4 games on Memphis or New Orleans. They can't get any better, but they are tied with Milwaukee. They're the only 2 teams. There's like a 9-game gap, Chop, between Chicago and Milwaukee. So I don't know if they have like a gentleman's agreement, but Milwaukee's saying screw you. They're going full on tank the rest of the way. It seems like, even if Giannis doesn't want to. That game is later on tonight, right? Yeah, Bulls, Cavs, The big one is Mitchell. We don't know when we're getting that news. Cleveland did get healthier with the addition of Strus. They have a bunch of players. Of course, Harden would get a boost. We've seen Mobley thrive in the absence of Allen. The price has certainly got up there, but the matchup here is pristine. How are you feeling about the Cavs and the Bulls?
Yeah, it's not an exciting game, but I think there's pieces to it. I do like Josh Giddey and the way he's played lately, so he's got big upside. And what really draws me to him is the matchup here. Cleveland, kind of not a good defensive team, even before the James Harden trade. And they're not necessarily a good defensive team after the James Harden trade. They can get by against weak competition or what have you, but generally kind of disappointed in. Well, no, you know what? I'll give them a pass because Jared Allen's been hurt for a long time. But with those twin towers in the middle, I would have expected them to be a little better defensively. But they haven't had one of those twin towers for a while now. So, but they're not a good defensive team. So I don't mind playing a Josh Giddey here. I don't think I want to go any other route on the Chicago side. Giddey would be about it. He'd be a one-off on that team, but I think he's okay at that ownership. I think Evan Mobley is going to be chalky, but probably well-deserved as the one leader of that, or the one guy in that trifecta for Cleveland right there, the big stars that you feel pretty safe about tonight. I haven't heard much about Mobley sitting out or resting or being injured or nothing, so he seems to be in a safer spot than Mitchell or Harden. He's cheaper than Mitchell and Harden. So I think he's going to be chalked, but for a good reason, and I don't mind him in the Chicago matchup. They're still looking to win games. Speaking of Mitchell and Harden, not really my cup of tea tonight, either one of those guys in this matchup. Don't think they need them. Don't think they want to overdo them. So other than that, not a lot on this team. I mean, Sam Merrill's projecting okay. You're the optimal guy. He's probably landing in some sort of optimals. He's gathering over 15% ownership. The ownership kind of drives me off of Sam Merrill, so I'm not really on that track. So Evan Mobley on one side, Josh Giddey on the other. I don't think this game is all that great to stack or anything. I just like those one-off pieces.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really into Merrill. You're pretty reliant on him making threes. They also have other options now with Strus. Ellis is there. They become more interesting, of course, if they happen to lose Mitchell. And I think I would say there's better than a 50% chance he doesn't play, but I don't know that. But I'm guessing that. We haven't seen a ceiling game from Harden yet for on Cleveland. If you look at the old game log, he's not had 50 points, which is kind of what he needs to be meaningful, right? His last 50-point game was February 9th, where he put up 52 points against Denver. So, okay, I guess he's done it. But it hasn't really happened, Again, without Mitchell, it should be a little bit easier to get there. The Bulls' defense should be easier to get there. But I'm not sure how much I love Harden. I do like Mobley more, and it's nice you can throw him a power forward. That's a big thing, because if he was center only, that would really muck things up. But he looks really, really strong. I'm looking at the if-then stuff, Chop, and there's a couple names. Like Mobley would look a 50-point median projection. He would be awesome if we happen to lose Mitchell. Dicier would be Dennis Schroeder. We're giving him 27 minutes, about 26 DK, 25 FanDuel as a median. I guess, he's not someone they necessarily need to give a bunch of run to, but he can get him through the game. How do you feel about Schroeder?
I like him, D.
Okay. Talk about.
So, yeah. Not that I like him right now. Yeah. With Mitchell possibly in and Harden possibly in, but if some guys got ruled out, I like Schroeder. You want to know why, Dean? I like Schroeder because watching him, he is. What would you say up until this point? Let's just not focus on his Cleveland time. Up until this point in his career, would you say he's been a net negative NBA player?
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't say positive. Maybe neutral.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I see him in a Cleveland uniform with a really good offensive-minded coach that they have.
Yeah,
and he looks like a positive player, Dean, believe it or not. He looks solid in this system. And I think sometimes that helps the guy. You just get with the right meld of coaching staff and offensive-minded guys and put you in the right spot. I think he looks good. So if we were to lose Mitchell or Harden or both or whatever, yeah, I'd like Dennis Schroeder because I think he offensively has looked pretty solid for this team this year. So I'm willing to go that route if we lose guys.
4K on DK. It's a really good price. 4K on DK, 4.3 on FanDuel. Both places look pretty good. And again, he would project as a positive value. Merrill slightly would. Harden slightly would. I wouldn't play Wade. I wouldn't really get into Ellis. Strus probably not. You're just super reliant on those threes to go in. But Mobley would become an awesome play if we lose Mitchell. I do agree that Shooter should be fine. He's a professional point guard, right? Like you talk about like the Houston just needs a professional point guard. I don't know if necessarily Schroeder would be helpful, maybe just to kind of have around. But, he's not a difference maker, but he knows how to run an offense. And he also he thinks he can shoot, which I like. I can appreciate that. And it's the Bulls. So this is the kind of team where he can actually look pretty good. So I think so. Here's the thing: do we leave a light on for this? If it's 6:55 on the East Coast, we don't have news on Mitchell just yet. He didn't tweet about letting anybody know. This is why I'm probably going to be. I'm apprehensive. I'm less likely to play players from Orlando, Charlotte. I'm less likely to play Washington because I don't want to lock up too many spots if dominoes fall a certain way. So you're leaving a light on for the possibility of Mitchell being out is the question, and you just kind of put as a placeholder. You putting Schroeder in as far as your lineup. How are you handling that?
Definitely not placeholding Schroeder, but no, I mean just naturally going to leave spots open because, yeah, we've already gone. I don't like the Goga chalk in that first game, and don't like that game in general. So we won't have much there. And then I said I didn't like Washington and that I wanted to cut down on too many Detroit pieces. So yeah, I'll naturally. And luckily, those are the only two games, and everything else is at 1, 2, 3, 4 games, at the same time, and we'll get all the news we need. And so, yeah, it'll be organic, Dean. My spots left open won't be because I specifically designed it for that, but it'll just be organic, and that works perfect tonight.
Anything else as far as Cleveland and Chicago?
Not on this game. I would just say I need some clues here, guys. So please hit the like button, man. Let's go. I need clue 3 here. I think I feel it on the tip of my tongue, but I need another clue. Come on.
I gotta confirm the age of Julius Peppers. Is he really that old? Is he really as old as somebody said? Yeah, he is 46. Okay, I didn't think he was still playing, but then I started second guessing myself. I'm like, why? Yeah. By the way, Madness. There's 2 games going on right now. It's kind of quiet. Michigan State up by 23 on North Dakota State. What's the mascot, Chop? Come on, show it off. What's the North Dakota State mascot?
The Bisons?
I think that's right. I'm not sure. I mean, Michigan State. I know you know Michigan State. It is, yeah, the Bison. There you go.
There you go.
Shout out to you. Hawaii is down 11 to Arkansas.
Yeah, those are the last 2 games on the FanDuel main slate. DraftKings did all the games today, so I'm sweating that one, Dean. I'd like to hit the FanDuel main slate if I could.
There you go. Let's talk about Phoenix. Phoenix and the Spurs. Yeah, Pepper's already in the Hall of Fame, of course. That makes sense. 228.5 is the total. San Antonio is a 10-point favorite versus the Suns. Well, let's take a peek at the injury report as far as who's in and who's out for this one. Grayson Allen officially questionable, dealing with that knee. Dylan Brooks is still out with his hand. Haywood Highsmith is questionable with his knee. We did get Royce O'Neal out, a wing that plays a bunch of minutes. He's unavailable with his knee. And we have not seen Mark Williams for a while. He continues to be out. San Antonio is the healthiest team in the league, right? I mean, just Harrison Ingram. It's all G League stuff, yeah. Everybody's healthy. Super healthy as far as the Spurs. I'll tell you, nobody's playing Wemby tonight, just with all the center stuff out there. Really interesting conversation when it comes to tournaments. It's not that hard to get over him get over the field. I think he's the highest. Luka. Yeah, assuming Luka plays. Luka's the highest, raw points projected player, but I kind of think he doesn't play. Maybe he does. Wemby would be the highest player otherwise. But again, ownership's not going to be there. For the most part, it's this game, right? Phoenix and San Antonio, Chop. Not a lot of ownership at all. Amongst the six, this one is going to be ignored pretty good. Do you agree with that?
Well, I do agree. I do agree that I don't like it. What's weird about it is your two highest projected owned guys are both Phoenix Suns, and I don't like either one of them at all. So I don't get that one. I'm with you on the Wemby thing. Could definitely break the slate in a game like this. So I know you typically will tell us 5 games in 7 nights, and guys are going to have dead legs at some point. It's really tough, right? What about 5 games in 8 nights? Does that make it better, or how much
tough.
better? It's still tough, right? Well, that's what scares me about Phoenix. They've played a lot of basketball lately. Now they're on the road in San Antonio. I do kind of worry about that a little bit, keeping the game close, or their lack of it with some of the injuries they have going on right now. I'd feel a lot better about this game if Dylan Brooks was healthy and able to get in there and give San Antonio a hard time. So I worry about the blowout aspect and keeping Wemby out there on the court for the full run. But, yeah, I agree that he's a great GPP play. He's definitely a great GPP play. So I like that one. But he's about the only guy in this game I feel like decent about. I don't want any Phoenix Suns players. Like, I'm just not going to chase the Grayson Allen three-pointers Devin Booker at 8,900 does not have the upside. I know that's kind of a thing in the DFS circles. Yeah, he'd have to get super hot from three-point range. Jalen Green, no way, man. Like, I don't know if you saw his last shooting performance. That was pretty.
Well, it's up and down. It's up. I mean, he has those games where he takes a bunch of shots, but
yeah,
I'm not a big Jalen Green guy, but he's definitely shown flashes. But I'm not playing.
Yeah, and the problem is he's not going to be able to drive to the bucket tonight, and to get all if the 3-pointers aren't just going up in bulk and hitting in bulk, he's not getting to the rim and getting a shot up there. So everything's going to be from the outside. I don't want to chase that tonight. Wemby's the only guy in this game I feel like decent about. So I'd play him in GPPs, nothing else. We'll keep our spots open for the late news here.
Phoenix has been on the road, like you said. This is their 6th game in a row on the road, the last game in the road trip, and it feels to me just like the Spurs are going to win this game running away. I know it's not a betting show, but I would lay the 10. I think San Antonio handles their business here against Phoenix. Phoenix has lost 3 in a row as well. As you know, they've been on the road for a while. This is the 3rd game in 4 nights. It's not a back-to-back, but it is still a 3rd game in 4 nights. Like you said, they played on the 12th, the 13th, 16th, 17th, and now the 19th. They probably want to get home, I would imagine. So I don't really like Phoenix.
Lay the 10. You saying lay the 10?
I'm laying the 10.
Lay the 10. Parlay it with the Houston Cougars tonight, laying the 23.5.
Do we like the Cougars tonight? I thought you keep talking about how they're too young and they're inexperienced.
This is the first round. First round. They usually dispose of these kind of teams pretty handily.
Next up, it is the Clippers and the Pelicans. Keep hitting that like button, by the way. Subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we go live. This time next week, we'll be watching some baseball, Chop. Baseball is happening. I don't know what's exactly. I've looked at the schedule, and there's
this day, 1 week from today, will be the first MLB show we do with the main slate.
Yes. Looking forward to that. I still have not seen an official time based upon what the slates do, but it'll be an afternoon show because I think there's a bunch of afternoon baseball. We have time. I'll take a look. Let's see what the schedule is next Thursday. And there is a game on Wednesday on the Netflix. Yeah, New York and San Fran. I saw Barry Bonds is going to be in the booth.
Oh, that sounds good.
Hopefully he'll be in a good mood. It's a bit of I'm not sure if you've heard he's a noted curmudgeon. Interesting.
I look forward to his insights, Dean.
Yeah, he was the hitting coach for the Marlins a few years ago. It didn't really work out. And it's one of those things that's weird. Like, it seems like the better coaches tend to be guys that are like sort of overachievers, as opposed to like the guys that are too good and they can't believe like you can't do this. It's like, well, just because you can and you're a Hall of Famer, you're great. We can't do that as easily as you can. Is that a fair assessment? Is that a bad generalization? I feel like the better coaches are guys that are kind of like the role players.
I don't know, Dean. But, why doesn't somebody needs to get Greg Maddux in the booth? I'd like to hear Maddox's opinions on pitching. That was an overachiever right there.
I'll tell you something. Greg Maddux would be in a lot of trouble with the robo-umps because nobody Nobody got the corners and 2 inches off the corners quite like Greg Maddux. Nobody. He got both the inside, the outside, high, low, and he was great. But it was location. He was pinpoint location. But if you bring in the ABS stuff, he'd be in trouble. He wouldn't be as he'd probably still be a good pitcher, of course. But he got a lot of grace from the umpires. Tiger is the third clue, Chop. Tiger, all-pro, available, and Tiger. Was that a besmirch of Greg Maddux? I don't mean to besmirch. I think he was great. And I like hearing him talk, too, about baseball. There's a great old clip about Greg Maddux where he's talking about a regular season game, I think against Jeff Bagwell, where you probably have seen this, where he basically just gives up a homer to Bagwell, throwing him a pitch because he knew he was going to see Bagwell in the playoffs, and then he totally flipped him on him in the playoffs. And he was playing the long game. Pretty spectacular. One of the better batting stances, right? More fun, Jeff Bagwell? You probably liked him back in the day. I would imagine so.
Did I like? Yeah, he was the best, man.
Yeah. that crouch. There's a bunch of games throughout the day for baseball. Yeah, all right. Pittsburgh plays the Mets. There you go. Producer Steve's excited about that one. That's 1:15. That's the tricky part, trying to figure if that's going to be on the main slate or not, because that's an hour before everything else on Peacock. Okay. Back to the Clippers. The Clippers and the Pels, 230.5 is the total. It's time I should tell you about it, Chop. Somebody already got it. Somebody got today's Fleet Thursday and won. I don't know how that's possible.
No way.
That's ridiculous. If the game was rigged, if it was, and it's not, but if it was, this would be Exhibit A. But shout out to Coleman W T22. Got it and won. I don't know how. Like, there's a 1,000 all pros all time. But yeah, somebody got it and won. We'll keep playing the game out for fun. Clippers, Pels, 230.5 is the total. The Pels are playing the back half of back-to-back. Both these teams are. Clippers have not changed hotels or anything because the venue's not changed. Back in the Smoothie King Center. It's pretty high. It's tight, but the tricky part is we don't know if Kawhi Leonard's going to play, right? Still no news on that just yet. 2 hours before the game starts. I imagine we'll get news at some point when it comes to the Clippers, but currently Kawhi is questionable. He wasn't fully pushed last night because it was a blowout. Mathurin is still out. Yannick Conan Niederhauser also unavailable. He's done for the year. New Orleans, they are resting DeJounte Murray in the back half of back-to-back with his Achilles. Otherwise, they are clean. I guess McGowan's out for the season. How you feeling about the Pels and the Clippers?
Yeah, it's interesting, some of this stuff. If Kawhi gets ruled out, if Kawhi is in there, then probably scratch all the Clippers, and I don't want any of it. If Kawhi is ruled out, then yeah, you can, Jordan Miller, John Collins I think are solid, decent plays. Chris, they're going to be highly owned. Chris Dunn's going to be the most owned, and that's, I think, a little bit risky with his archetype. But yeah, so that's all going to depend on Kawhi Leonard. Everything on that side of the ball is going to depend on Kawhi. For New Orleans, Sadiq Bey is okay. Jeremy Fears at 47 tonight, I think is okay. Trey Murphy, I like. Zion, I'm done. I'm done with Zion trying to, get a ceiling game out of him. It's just not going to happen this year.
He only scores. He doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, I'm done with that one. So I'm just, that's where I am with New Orleans. I mean, everything's going to hinge on Kawhi in this game, I think. So we got that going for us. You got Derek Queen down there at 4,400, Dean. Do you think Derek Queen is a net positive NBA player? Not without, stats and how
right
stats.
Now, no, I don't think so.
No? Do you think it was worth giving up your first round pick this year for?
I mean, my understanding is that this draft is going to be loaded, and New Orleans, I would assume, if they did have their pick, they probably would have been losing more along the way. So no, Queen did flash some stuff earlier in the year, but it's been few and far between. The defense isn't good. The outside shot isn't good. He's had moments. He's still young. It could still happen, but probably a mistake. What do you think?
Huge mistake. Yeah, he's just. Yeah. I could tell you that coming out of Maryland, man, that he wasn't worth giving up another first-round pick for in that next year. But whatever, you do what you got to do. But question. I have a question from Samurai, and he's asking, like, since I don't give up my main entree picks, and I don't even know what that means.
I'm not sure.
Can I give out my least favorite appetizer as a food and pick tonight? I don't. You have to like specify what you're asking out of me. If you're asking for something specific, I'll give it to you. But I don't know what that means. That's
it could be a callback to yesterday. We were talking about the worst possible appetizer. When you go to a restaurant, what's the worst appetizer? What's the biggest whammy?
For me?
Yeah.
Gosh, Dean, it's a tough one, man. But like, and this is my wife likes this, but I'm not a big spinach artichoke dip guy.
That's my answer.
So I would say that, but man, I would catch hell from my wife because she loves that garbage. Oh, calamari, fried calamari is when it's done. TJ says calamari when it's done the right way and it's fresh and you get it on that table right out of the fryer. I can live with that.
You add a lot of qualifiers. Calamari, it's a GPP play. There's a big variance on calamari. You know, it's kind of like Queen.
Yeah, well, maybe. The calamari, I used to work at a restaurant, Dean, and that was one of our appetizers was the calamari, fried calamari. So,
Was it out of a bag? Was it fresh?
No, it was pretty fresh. And, well, it was fresh to a point where that morning we got it in and, you know, we'd cut it that morning and bag the portions up so we didn't know because it's expensive, right? So it was fresh in that, but then you're frying it fresh, like you're breading it and frying it fresh. That's where I would say it's really good because I've had it literally straight out of the fryer, man. Like the good stuff, not when it sits up on the table waiting to be taken to a table, you know, for like 5 minutes and it gets a little bit cooled. And no, you gotta have it fresh. And I've had it really fresh. So
it's not an appetizer, I don't think, but caviar sucks. Can we just say caviar sucks?
I've never had caviar, man.
It stinks. You don't want
it. I do know a caviar dealer though in New York, so I'm not going to.
Good marketing. It's very well marketed.
I'm not going to speak low of it because I don't want to do that to my guy, but I've never had it.
A caviar dealer? It's legal to deal caviar, right? What do you mean when you say dealer? Like, I don't. You make it seem like it's not.
It's like an art dealer or any kind of a car dealer. Like you're just dealing, you're selling stuff. He sells it. He buys it and sells it. He deals it.
Producer Steve, by the way, says mozzarella sticks are the worst. Like there's a floor to mozzarella sticks. They're not the worst. You don't have to like them, but you know what you're getting. It's a cash game play. Not a lot of upside, right? It is what it is. But to say it's the worst, I think it's a bad call by Steve.
Certainly not the worst.
Yeah. Fried pickles. Yeah, that's something you get in the South. You probably have had a fried pickle or two.
Oh, yeah. They got that at Hooters.
That's your go-to? I didn't know Hooters was known for their fried pickles.
Well, they're not, but they got them, and they're not bad.
If Kawhi doesn't play, man, Chris Dunn projects really well, and I hate that. We're giving like a 32 median projection for Chris Dunn in 32 minutes. Man, I don't like it. But the projection is really, really good if we lose Kawhi. Jordan Miller would also project really strongly. I think I prefer Miller over Dunn. They're essentially the same projection if we lose Kawhi. Man, I want to play Isaiah Jackson, Chop. I really want to play him. Back half of a back-to-back. Brook Lopez is 37 years old, 9 years younger than Julius Peppers. You know, you don't need to – Ty Lue has talked about how they there's kind of in-game, like flow of the game, like rewarding players that are playing well. So it's hard to project like who's going to close, but we've definitely seen the scenario where Jackson just outplays Lopez. The tricky part is he's a center, and we have a lot of center value. Gogo Batadze. We might get more with the Lakers stuff if Ayton, gets cleared as the number one guy all of a sudden if we lose all the Lakers. But I think Jackson's just an awesome tournament play, good fantasy point-minute player. There's a path where he gets 20-plus minutes. We mentioned Conan Niederhauser is no longer there, so he's the clear backup. 48 minutes essentially chopped between those two, Lopez and Jackson. The centers for New Orleans are not good. Like Misi, not a good noted defender. Makovich, Queen. Like there's bad defense here in New Orleans. They give up the seventh most opposing rebounds. They get blocked a lot. He's a good stocks guy, Jackson. And they give up points in the paint too. Like those are the three things that Jackson needs: rebounds, points in the paint, stocks, specifically blocks. and all three of those, New Orleans is bottom 7. He's by I don't know how ambitious it is as far as tournament play, but I think as the day has progressed, his ownership's gone down. But I really like him as a potential separator in tournaments. My bold call today in the survey was 30+ points for Isaiah Jackson. Did I sell you on Isaiah Jackson to be in your pool for lineups tonight? I'm not sure if you're making it up. Probably not.
Now, when you say 30+,
yeah,
do you mean real life?
30 fantasy points.
Fantasy point. I could buy that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely buy that. I'll be on board with that.
He's projected, but 30 is meaningful. He's projected for 20. If he gives you 30.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
And why would you play? You traded for the guy. Not that you necessarily, that was probably like a money thing or whatever. Brooke Lopez, what's the point? I guess you're trying to figure stuff out. Lopez got up, worked last night. I'm convincing myself I'm trying to play Isaiah Jackson, but we'll see how the chips fall when more news comes on through. I don't think we have any. It's very quiet, Chop. We're getting news for Friday. Yeah, nothing as far as basketball. Still 5 superstars, depending on how you define superstar. Spider, LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, Kawhi Leonard are all still questionable. They're all playing 8 o'clock. So, again, that has me any sort of tiebreaker, 7 o'clock player versus 8 o'clock player. Give me the 8 o'clock player. Give me some potential flexibility. I don't, if Kawhi plays, I just don't really love John Collins. I don't really love DJJ or Dunn. All sort of fine. Miller's fine. Jackson's my favorite amongst that bunch. Anything else as far as the Pels? Oh, did we touch on should have mentioned Fears. Just acknowledge the existence of Fears. Probably not going to start. We're expecting Messi and Zion to start with Bay, Murphy, and Jones.
Who? Jeremiah Fears?
What's that?
Jeremiah Fears?
The absence of Murray should be a little bit clearer path to minutes.
Did you know, currently speaking, Michigan State taking on North Dakota State? We just talked about it.
Yeah.
His brother is the point guard.
For Michigan State?
Michigan State. Jeremy Fears Jr.
Wait, they're both named Jeremy? Well, Jeremy Fears. Jeremy. Okay.
Jeremy Fears. He's really good too, actually.
Better than Jeremiah?
Well, I think he's okay. So I have to look up the age. I don't know how many years into his college career he is. If he's a few years in, obviously he's not as good because that matters. Jeremiah came out after 1 year, so I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, but he's really good at college.
Well, Google knows the answer. Jeremiah Fears is 18. So there you go.
But Jeremy Fears Jr. from Michigan State. How old is he? How old is he? You got the Google fired up.
Let's see. Jeremy Fears, 20. Apparently he's 20.
Jeremiah is much better than.
So
Jeremiah is able to come out after 1 year, be a high draft pick, and doing something productive. Whereas you spend 3 years in college, and everything gets, the stats don't really matter at that point. You're older than these guys, and so there. I answered the question. Jeremiah is better, but Jeremy's a very productive college player who's starting on Michigan State and playing right now. So interesting.
Chop, you guessed Tyrann Mathieu. I understand why you guessed
that. That was not it.
But I'd say it's a reasonable guess. He's probably a free agent? I don't know what team is he. Free agent right now? Maybe in the league, could be.
Pretty sure he is. If he didn't retire this year, he might have retired.
Yeah,
this
he all pro at some point, I would imagine.
Had to be, man. LSU Tiger. But anyway, we got 1 game left. I need to know the answer. So let's just do the recap it for us, Dean. Before we go on to the last game.
I was being pretty straightforward. All pro, this player is an all pro, and all pro basically tells you it's a football player. Available was nothing as far as their dating status, but it was just saying that they're a free agent essentially. So they're an all pro. They're available. Tiger, you are correct in your assessment, but I think Tiger might be the most popular mascot in college sports. I think it's one of the most popular. It's not LSU, but it's the same conference. Clemson.
No.
Clemson Tiger.
No.
The fourth news. What? Wait, are they not in the same conference?
Clemson and LSU are definitely.
Oh yeah.
Not in the same conference.
Never mind. I was thinking just sort of in the South, but yep, there you go.
Clemson. So I know who you're going with now. I know. Is it Julius Thomas?
No.
Okay, he was a Clemson tight end too.
Was he an All-Pro?
He might have been.
I don't know.
Dang.
Clue number 4, which was not yet revealed, was perfect. Perfect. And clue number 5, which I think gets you there if you need it. Clue number 5 should get you there, was kangaroo. Kangaroo. What do you know about kangaroos?
You can have a kangaroo court. You can.
You ever see any kangaroos in that Guatemala River? No, probably not so much. They probably don't pop up. You got those at the whatever that disease you were saying you can contract, and if you jump in the
Guadalupe River,
not
the Guatemala River. No, that's totally different.
I got my rivers confused.
So I'm drawing a blank, Dean. You got to spoon feed it to me.
What do kangaroos do?
They hop, they punch, they jump. I've seen the kangaroo boxing the guy one time on the YouTube clip.
They hop is the first thing you said. So that's
Oh, okay. Is it Hopkins?
Yeah, there you go.
Dang,
and perfect. He was number 10. He wore number 10 his entire career, with the exception, I think, one. Kansas City, I think he played with number 8, if I'm not mistaken. So he wears number 10, perfect 10. Speaking of Greg McGinnis, there you go. Okay, Lakers, Heat, and this is just like I don't know. This is a head shrug because we don't really know about the Lakers. They're in Miami. 240.5 is the total. They're 6-point dogs. Back half of a back-to-back. There's travel. They got in late or really early, depending how you want to look at that. All 3 of the rest players are currently questionable. LeBron told us earlier in the year, I'm 41, and every back-to-back is questionable. He legit hurt himself last night, played through it. He's got a foot. They gave Luka a hip. They gave Austin Reeves a forearm. Maxi Kleber's out too with a lumbar strain. Miami, Jaime Jaquez, he's out with a hip. Jovic is still available. Pelle Larson's still available. Khalil Ware is still available. Wiggins is still out. So Jaime Jaquez, Wiggins out. Bam is good to go with his calf. Our if then that we have set up, you can't do every single combination, obviously, but we have all 3 being ruled out if that happens. The player that looks really good is DeAndre Ayton. He would project for 42 median points, which is a huge number. 32 minutes. Luke Kennard, Nard Dog, would project really well. Marcus Smart, 33 minutes. Jake LaRavia, 32. And Rui Hachimura. All Ayton, Kennard, Smart, LaRavia, Hachimura, those 5 would be projected for more than 30 minutes. Vanderbilt, Hayes, Connect, Bufkin, those guys would get in the teens. That's where we have it right now. Do you have a guess? Why not rule them all out? They got their W. This game doesn't matter so much. Last night's beating it's the Eastern Conference.
You talking about the Lakers?
Yeah.
No, it matters, Dean.
Yeah. I mean, they care about the Western Conference games more.
I mean, the gap between 3rd seed and being down there in the 6th seed is 2 games. Yeah, it matters. You definitely want the better path going in the Western Conference playoffs. You definitely want to avoid 4 or 5 because you don't want to face OKC in the second round. I definitely think it matters. I think that's why you haven't seen guys get ruled, and that's why I don't think you'll see everybody get ruled out.
I shouldn't think it matter. You're right.
Certainly the old guy like LeBron James I could see getting ruled out, but I don't think the younger guys. Honestly, I think the younger guys are going to play.
So you think we're going to get 2 out of 3? You think Luka and Reeves play?
Yeah, and I also think it helps that they had the game last. Well, it doesn't help that they had a game last, but it helps that the travel got pushed back to where they didn't even get into Miami until 5 a.m.
That's a good thing.
If you get in Miami at 1 a.m.,
you're going out?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, and I believe in the Luka narrative with his wife leaving and all that other stuff. So he's single. Austin Reeves. I don't remember
him being with some lady I never heard of. Is there not? I feel like I wasn't seeking this out, but I feel like I saw he's with some celebrity now. Is that not true?
No, I don't know about that, but I know that as far as Mad Luka, who's no longer dealing with those problems he was dealing with his child, which was going on earlier in the year. She's gone now, completely out. I think she's back in their home country now. I don't know. Quote me on that. But he's looked like a fantastic player lately. He looks much better. He's playing well. If he got into Miami at 1 a.m. and he's single like that, I could certainly see him going and doing some things and having some fun. Getting at 5, you're probably just going to bed at that point. Like, that's it, right? So I think that kind of helps him get back on track today. And
you're not playing. If you're told like, okay, you're going to the day off tomorrow, then maybe you go to 11 or something like that. But
so I think we see these guys tonight. Maybe LeBron's the only one I think sits. I think they're fine. I don't think it's a great matchup against Miami here tonight. Coming off a back-to-back, you're still going to have some sort of tired legs, and it's going to affect you to some extent. And Miami's relatively healthy, and we know the pace, but I don't think the pace is going to hurt. I don't think the pace is going to help the Lakers tonight. I don't think they want to go too fast anyway. But the defensive efficiency should pick back up for Miami tonight with Bam back, and so I think that hurts the Lakers in a bigger way than anything else. So I'm not a huge fan of the Lakers, even though I do think LeBron's the only one that sits out.
What if they all sit out? Are you playing Ayton?
Yeah, you probably got to start looking at guys and start rattling off one or two of these guys at least. Like if 2 of them sit out and you leave Austin Reeves, that's a plug and play.
Yeah.
Same thing. If all 3 are out, then you probably move towards Ayton or something like that. But
Kennard, I think Kennard would look pretty good.
Oh man, I'd have a hard time. And I know what you're saying, but I'd have a hard time playing that. I know, but it's Luke Kennard.
I know, but he can shoot, handle the ball.
You know who I would play instead of Kennard if those guys? I'd rather play Hachimura.
What's the difference in price though? How much is Rui?
38.
Okay. Yeah. He's a little bit more likely to take some shots, I suppose. Yeah. I meant to run a court IQ on this actually. If I kick those 3 players off the court, and let's see, we have time. If we take those 3 off, what kind of sample are we going to get, right? Who's the most likely to take a bunch of shots is the question. Taking me a second here to load it up. As I load this up there, Chop, I know we have crunch time coming in here soon. Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, TJ Zwarych as well. They're going to be taking you guys home, hopefully, or possibly, or maybe giving you some update when it comes to injuries. But again, the 5 key players that we're monitoring, there's more than 5, but the 5 key ones are all in the 8 o'clock window. As I pull this up here, Chop, give me the plums. Who are you feeling the plums tonight?
The plums. Okay, the plums tonight. The list there's several options here, Dean. But I think at the end of the day, what I'm deciding on, and I'm hoping Kawhi's out, because I'm going Trey Murphy, the 3rd.
Oh.
And I'm hoping Kawhi's out. So, because I think that helps him even more than anybody on New Orleans. So, because of the defense and because Chris Dunn will be tasked with more, and I could see Murphy getting some. So, bottom line, Trey Murphy, the 3rd, I think is my sneaky plums play of the day.
Ayton gets an 11.2% usage bump when Reeves, LeBron, and Luka are off the court. How big is that sample? That is a huge number, obviously. We're talking about it's only 56 minutes, 1.13 fantasy points per minute. Still not great. Tough matchup versus Bam. I know it's up in pace and all that. Marcus Smart, 8.7 bump in usage, and Kennard, 6.2%. Who averages the most? Kennard, 1.05 fantasy points per minute. Rui, 0.96. Biggest bumps. Kennard gets he gets a half a point per minute bump. And that's a 377-minute sample for Kennard. That is huge. He's pretty terrible when it's just him and then when he's out there with those guys, obviously. But over a fantasy point per minute. We'll have to wait and see, but I think he's I think he's somebody I'm going to be – I don't want to say leave the light on for. And, again, we might be playing Schroeder depending on – this all kind of ties into the fact I just don't know how much I want to play players from the first couple games. Detroit, unavoidable. I think I got to play at least somebody on the Pistons, but I want to leave the light on, multiple lights on for potential shenanigans with the Lakers. I think Mitchell doesn't play. I feel reasonably confident he doesn't play. 60-40. I would bet the coin flip on no. I was going to say we can ask Mr. Predicto, but crunch time's here, Chop. Crunch time. We got Kirkwood. We got Kirkdiese, as well as TJ Zwarych. Let's do it. Let's see once we transition to crunch time right now.
You are muted, Dean.
Oh, my apologies. I said some amazing things. I gave a bunch of compliments to both you guys. It's TJ's work. It's Kirkwood. Having a holding pattern, right? I guess that's where we're at. TJ, are you running your typical 150, or did you anticipate it to be a tricky situation and you held out because this could get dicey for you, depending on.
I am going 150. I already have like a shell in, so if we don't get any breaking news or if it's chaos right before lock, I already got something in at least. But my thought process is I'm not playing that much from the early two games anyways, outside of Goga Batatse and one of the Detroit guards. And so it's still going to be, I'm going to have so much in that late slate that it's going to be pretty easy to adjust all those lineups.
Kirkwood, how are things? Are you celebrating the idea that Cunningham might not have to face the Celtics in the playoffs?
No, it's just this is what happens. You play who's in front of you, and that all works itself out. So I'm not celebrating anything. It's we still got a way to go. I mean, could happen just like last year where Jaylen Brown played through an injured knee and Tatum got hurt. You know?
Oh, for sure.
Stuff. Yeah. And Porzingis, like remember Porzingis, Porzingis couldn't even play.
He's on his revenge tour right now, Porzingis. He's been good. He was good versus Washington. I guess not so much against.
Yeah, he's good in like 20 minutes. That's what he can do.
Chop, anything else before you step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time?
I just want to point out that Porzingis' nickname, they're calling him Easy P.
Oh, a HIV reference. Maybe.
I'm just saying. So
it's an easy E reference.
Actually, he's full blown. Never mind. God rest Eazy-E's soul. Great guy. Love NWA. Big NWA.
That sound effect means that it's our time's over. Myself and Chop are going to see ourselves out. Chop, enjoy the madness. Everybody hit that like button. Don't go anywhere because you got 40 minutes of TJ Zwarych and Kirkwood. Kirkdiese. TJ, take it away.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to NBA Crunch Time. We got a sprint slate tonight, 6 games, all of them starting within an hour. Still waiting on a lot of really big injury news. Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, plus some other players as well, all listed as questionable. I'm your host today, TJ Zwarych. Joining me is Kirkdiese. How you doing, Kirkdiese?
Doing all right. Not the best start, and I always do. I always get my losses out right when the NCAA tournament starts. I always bet too much on the first game because it's something to do, and I took the L today. So having fun though. Researched the slate, had my work doing, worked all the stuff we do with tags and write-ups and whatnot. Did that, but I don't know. The slate's okay, but I'm like in March Madness mode right now.
This is the first time in my entire life, probably since I started following basketball. I remember winning. My mom was a high school vice principal, and when I was like 8, 9, 10 range, I won her school pool, and that just got me locked into March Madness. But I didn't fill out a bracket this year, didn't make any bets, nothing. I just had such a crazy busy week that honestly, I didn't even really think about it until today. So no March Madness investments financially or emotionally for me this year. It feels weird. It feels real weird to be without it.
It's only a couple days. There's only like 4 good days of basketball. So
very, very good point. Let's start diving into this one. We got pretty substantial injury news we're still waiting on. I am running out, like as Dean inquired, I am going to run out 150 lineups, but Orlando, Charlotte, Cleveland, Orlando, Charlotte, Detroit, Washington. There's a couple players in each of these games that I really want to play. But other than that, I'm going to be just like mostly ignoring this game. It's Goga Batatse, it's the Detroit guards. Other than that, I'm going to be ignoring these first 2 games. So I have maximum swappability for the rules, for the maximum swappability for the later games. How do you plan on attacking this slate?
So, all right. So what do you want? So in a perfect world this happens. So are you thinking that all 3 of the Lakers are going to be out? Are you thinking that just Braun is going to be out, or Reeves and Braun? Or
I think Braun. I don't know about Reeves, and I think Luka plays. Right now, I do have all of them in my pool just because I'm trying to fill up spots in those late games so I have space. But I'm kind of leaning LeBron sits, the other two play.
Yeah. So there's a lot competing around the industry. There's a lot of people think that all three of them are going to sit. I think Luka's going to play, like you just said. We'll see what happens. But so there's that, and I guess a way to play that, something that can give you flexibility. I want to play the guards and Duren. There's no way I don't play Jalen Duren tonight in Detroit, Washington game. But I think if you put Wemby in, you can feel good. Like you can feel good about either your lineup as it is, or you'll have a lot of swappability with Lakers guys if all of them are out or something. I think that might be a good strategy. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of news to come. We're getting some Chicago news in now, and I think Donovan Mitchell probably won't play either, but we'll have to wait and see there too. But Mobley is a smash.
Muted. Like a fool. Pull the Dean. We'll start going position by position here. We'll go point guard on DK first. Then we'll take it to FanDuel. Then we'll take your questions. If you got any questions, make sure you get them into the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. I'm looking there first. I'm looking at YouTube second. YouTube, make sure you smash that like button. Help us out. Grow this community. It's free content. All we ask is that you hit that like button. What are you doing with these Pistons, guys? We got Dennis Jenkins projecting for a ton of ownership. I do think he's the best play of these Detroit guys, but I am going to be having a lot of lineups where I'm making a pivot to Marcus Sasser as well. How are you planning on handling the Detroit guards? And then what are you doing at point guard?
Yeah, so I think Jenkins is going to steal the usage. He's a gunner when he's out on the court. We've seen it happen in the past. I think in this offense, even though Marcus Sasser is a capable scorer and was great in college and stuff, he kind of isn't very aggressive, hasn't been this season. And so I'm not there's tons of usage up for grabs. I think he'll be fine, but I think he's going to be facilitating a lot to just Duren and just what are they going to they can't stop him. They couldn't the other night either. So they're running it back again. So and then I think Jenkins will probably soak up a ton of usage. So I prefer Jenkins of the two. Over on FanDuel, Sasser's a lot cheaper and Jenkins is priced up a little bit more. So that makes it a little bit of a harder decision. But on DraftKings here, Jenkins is my preferred play. If Luka plays, the dude is he's put his plums on the table last night and just totally won that game. And he's been crazy good for a short period. They've won 7 in a row, and it's really all because of him. So I mean, he's just been smashing, and he had the most insane amount of use. I mean, he had 45% usage with a full lineup last night with Reeves, with LeBron. Now you take if you take one of those or both of those guys out, I think the sky's the limit ceiling. I do worry. It was a tough fought game against Houston. It's back-to-back, but he's just in such a groove right now that I think you have to consider playing him. So I like him a lot. Other than that, I like LaMelo Ball. I don't even care about the Orlando matchup so much. Like LaMelo it's just really whether he hits his threes or not. And he's going to jackal against anyone. His little one-legged three in the air. But I like him. Harden obviously would get a boost if Mitchell's out. Jordan Miller is really interesting. He's going to have, with Mathurin out, just that alone, he's going to have massive usage in the second unit. And then also, if Kawhi doesn't play, I think Kawhi is going to play, but we have to wait and see on that. And Darius Garland out. So Jordan Miller has a ton of opportunity. He's a scorer. He can get buckets. So I like him. And you can play him over at shooting guard as well. I also like Jeremiah Fears. You can play him over at shooting guard as well with DeJounte out. And then, Booker's been playing pretty well. I could see taking a shot on him or, another shot would be with a guy like Trey Murphy. And another, I guess the pivot off of Jenkins would be Chris Dunn, but I think you're probably going to lose if you do that.
Yeah, I'm getting to a ton of Jenkins as well. He's my highest owned player at 72%. I guess technically Goga is because I have the lock on him right now. Not sure if I'm going to hold that. If we start getting some of this news before lock, a couple other players open up, I might change it. But I think I might end up just hitting the lock button on him at $3,600 on DraftKings. We will get there at center, though. I have 69% Dennis Jenkins right now. And then my second highest own is a big tie between Luka Doncic, Chris Dunn, Marcus Sasser, Jordan Miller. I probably will have one of Sasser or Jenkins in every lineup. If I'm not playing Sasser, I'm probably going to go Jenkins. Over at the shooting guard spot, biggest thing, if they have small forward eligibility, play him there. Play him at small forward. Don't play him at shooting guard. I see we got LeVert and Powell at the top of our ownership. I think that's really important to separate today because there are just so many better guards than there are small forwards and power forwards, mostly small forward though today. So save those guys for that spot. Karis LeVert, Norman Powell, save them for the small forward spot. Shooting guard isn't as strong as point guard is. It's nowhere close to as strong, but there's still lots of value here. And it's more so that small forward is just bleak. And so I'm make sure I play those guys over there. And so Chris Dunn, Jordan Miller, Marcus Sasser, Sam Merrill, getting to a lot of those guys here. And then if he plays, especially if one of Luka or LeBron are out or both, I want to get to as much Austin Reeves as possible too. Who do you like at shooting guard?
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. Like Norman Powell, I don't think is worth a shooting guard play. I think he's worth a small forward play. I think he's a good play. He had strong usage, but I also like the idea. He's going to be pretty chalky. I also like the idea of playing Tyler Hero over him at much lower ownership, and that would have to be in the shooting guard position. I think Desmond Bane is pretty interesting. The 7,600 price tag is fine. I think he could have a big game here. You can play Jordan Miller, like we said. You can play Jeremiah Fears, like I said before. Also Booker and Trey Murphy. But yeah, that's the way I'm playing it. But like it's point guard, shooting guard is where I like a ton of plays here. So the pool is going to be a little bit shorter for point guard and shooting guard.
All right, take me over to shooting guard. Sorry, small forward.
Small forward. So this is where you play Norman Powell. Now, if Kawhi Leonard plays, I think he'll probably be capped at like up to 30 minutes, 29 minutes, somewhere around there. But he's going to have massive usage. He's also probably going to see double teams and whatnot. But man, he's been really good this season. And it's been refreshing to watch him be so good. And he's actually playing like when we always used to worry about him never playing and all that stuff. So love him if he does play. I think he goes for one of the top studs of the night. Sadiq Bey is pretty interesting. He's had a bunch of usage. And with DeJounte DeJounte is doubtful, right? Is that true, or has he been ruled out already? He's out. So he's out already. Yeah. Bryce McGowan's is out already. So you can play Sadiq Bey. It's had nice usage lately and been playing pretty well as of late. Will Riley sucks at basketball, but is pretty good on the Wizards for garbage time and throughout the game. He just keeps getting there, and he's like the one guy on Washington like I don't have a problem playing right now because he just finds a way to get there in garbage time. He hits some threes, he'll get some defensive stats and whatnot. So I think he's fine.
Doncic is in. Looks like we're about to get our Laker news.
Yeah,
LeBron in.
All right, so they're going to all play unless Reeves actually really did hurt his ankle yesterday, so he might be out. Let's see.
We'll see. No Austin Reeves ruling yet, but we'll make sure we get that out to you as soon as we got it. You can play LeBron here, or I guess no, power forward is where he is. But I'm with you. I really like Sadiq Bey and Kawhi Leonard. If he plays, I'm going to be getting to a lot of him as well. LeVert is probably going to be my top cheap guy at the position. But I also like the idea of like one of my favorite Norman Powell pivots. He's a little bit more expensive. Is Matas Buzelis. He's just been playing so well lately. He's been playing some
He keeps getting so many blocks too. He's been like a FanDuel darling. Like he's He was like, everyone was tilting him in the RG chat for the first half of the other game the other night. And then he just went absolutely nuked the third quarter and then played a bunch of the fourth too.
Yeah, I think he's a strong GPP play today. Jalen Green, Will Riley. And then if you need to punt, I think you could do somebody like a Kobe Sanders, but that's probably only if Kawhi Leonard is out for me. Power forward, a little bit stronger than small forward. You can play LeBron here now that he's in. Evan Mobley projecting really well. He's got a whole bunch of tags over in RG. I think top play at the position for me is going to be John Collins. Who you liking at power forward? Like, even if Kawhi's in, I think I like Collins.
I think Mobley is just going to absolutely nuke in this matchup against the Bulls. Also with Jalen Smith out now too. So Mobley's just going to be a monster in this game. So he's my second favorite play on the slate. My first being Durant in the at center. Yeah, you can play Bam here.
Starting over Trey Johnson for the Wizards.
Yeah, you don't know. You can't trust these Wizards.
Only 3,900 though. He played 27 minutes last game. I think he's somewhat in play. I just hate that he's only point guard eligible because that's such a strong position.
Yeah. Who else here? So Paulo Banchero, kind of going to be a low-owned guy with might pick up some defensive stats now with Wendell Carter Jr. out and Goga being there. Don't mind him. But I really just love Mobley. And I don't the price on LeBron is nice at 7,700, but on the back-to-back in that tough game, and he got thrown to the floor and hurt his elbow during the game too. Was a little bit nicked up. And of course he embellishes everything. He made it look like his arm was broken for the first 30 seconds.
Reeves is a game time decision for what it's worth.
Yeah. So it looks like they're trying to win this game, and they've been on a roll right now here. So I think that's probably for real, and he did hurt his ankle last night, and if he can go, he'll play, I bet. So wouldn't rule him out just yet. Yeah, John Collins looks all right. The price is right. I worry about total ceiling with him. But because I'd much rather play a guy like Mobley, but I do have him ranked pretty highly on this slate, and I think he's a good play at 5,700.
All right, take me over to center.
It's Stern. He just absolutely smashed 57 fantasy points, but had nice usage in that game too against the Washington. Just Washington does everything perfectly for the Dern in this spot. So if you just go over Washington, we all know they stink. Sarr is playing, but in general they stink. They give up the third most points in the paint. They give up they're 28th in steals, 24th in blocks. He's just a unit. Now you got Cade out. Cade is he gets everybody going, but he's obviously the star of the team. But with him out here, I just think there's just no reason not to feed Dern just all game. Other guys will have their shot too to pick it up, but I think he's going to absolutely smash. And maybe Washington hangs around now with Cade out. So if we get like a full 4 quarters, he could be smash city. I think he's a smash. I don't care what his ownership is tonight. Other than that, I think obviously Goga you can play because he's cheap. Wemby is a decision point too. Especially if you think, we got the Laker news, so most of it. So
Grayson Allen and Haywood Highsmith just got ruled out for Phoenix. So that's about 40 minutes of projection, likely going to guys like Gillespie, maybe some Jordan Goodwin.
Royce is already out too, right?
Yeah. And so somewhat interesting. I think that bumps up Jalen Green. I think.
Yeah, a lot of guys are out. Allen's out, Highsmith's out, Royce O'Neal, Mark Williams still not available. Yeah, so we'll have to see where projections come there. But, it's going to be Booker and Jalen Green per usual.
Yeah, I am with you there. Those are definitely the guys that I'm going most to. I think I might get to a little bit of this Fleming character, Rasheer Fleming.
He makes sense from a matchup standpoint. He's big enough to Bank, that Iguodala or whatever his name is, he's just thin for Wemby. I mean, obviously it's a tough matchup with Wemby, but he may play a bunch of minutes, Fleming.
Yeah, I am with you there. I think I'm just going to hit the lock button on Goga Bitadze, even though we are still waiting on some of this later news. So he's going to be my highest owned center. I do have a pretty small pool outside of him. I mean, like, I'll mostly play Collins at power forward, but I do have him in that spot a little bit as well. I guess mostly will just be utility since I have the lock on Goga. But then it's just Jalen Duren, Isaiah Jackson, DeAndre Ayton for me. That's really it. And I think I'm going to bump Ayton down significantly now that we got all those Lakers guys in. I just wanted to get him in a few more lineups in case we didn't get that news before lock. But now I'm going to bump him down significantly.
Just ignore him. Just throw him out.
Howard, when asking if Rasheer Fleming will start, I have no idea. We're going to have to wait and see when they give us a starting lineup in a half hour. For what it's worth, though, he's now projecting for... So this was kind of like a dart throw play before we got that Grayson Allen, Hayden Highsmith news. Now he's just genuinely projecting like a pretty good play. He's projecting for 27 minutes, 20 fantasy points. So at $3,400, that is looking like a really good salary saver. And we are projecting him to start.
And it makes sense logically for them to use him more in this situation.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot of that, dude. Looking at the power forward spot now, I'm going to bump down my exposure to some of these other guys so that I can make sure I get a ton.
It looks like Mitchell's going to be out.
Ooh.
So there we go with Harden, Mobley even more, and then we're going to have some more potential value.
Big time bump, like you said, for Mobley now, but Harden, I think especially, is now just like maybe the best play on the slate. Like, I think that might be the top spend up now.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it changes a ton. I think he gets more of a ceiling. I still think Mobley's the guy. And because now Dennis Schroeder's gonna play now a bunch. He might end up rating out as a pretty strong play.
Sam Merrill probably gonna rate out as a really strong play now.
Yeah, and then they always have like Jalen Tyson.
Tyson and Ellis are there going to
Struz.
Yeah. Ellis will probably soak up a lot, and he's never anything.
Yeah, Ellis. That's right.
I'm going to make a rule max one of Merrill and Schroeder. That's what I'm throwing in there right now. But let's pivot over to FanDuel because we got about 20 minutes left to lock. I want to make sure we save time for questions. So let's talk FanDuel. Let's start at the point guard position. Who you liking over there?
All right. So Jalen Green and Booker are looking a lot better right now, especially Jalen Green at 7,200. And these guys, like I think Don Yuzu was saying it, how you beat the Spurs is you're gonna have to shoot against the Spurs either from the mid range or out from three, because you're not getting in the paint against Wemby. So I would lean Jalen Green just because of the price tag difference. And I think he's almost fully back, to the gunning. He's not as good of a player, but he definitely can score with the best of them, and he's a gunner, and that's what you want. So I like Booker. I like Luka. Like I said, I love Luka. I like Tyler Hero still. You can play Gillespie now. Like you were saying, at 6,100, that's probably pretty nice. He has someone who'll shoot a bunch of threes too, as well, a good three shooter. So I like that. Jenkins still, although he's more expensive over here now, and if you need the savings, Marcus Sasser is cheaper. Fears a little more expensive over here. Still like him fine. And LaMelo again, but that's about it. But really, it's like Booker, Green, Luka, Tyler Hero, and LaMelo and Gillespie. I mean, and Jenkins even. I mean, and Harden even. I mean, it's stacked right now. Now that we got more Phoenix value.
Yeah, it really is. Sasser, I think, is definitely going to be the Detroit guy I want to go with here. Devin Booker underpriced, Jalen Green underpriced. Really, really strong position already, and then it kind of gets even stronger, like you said, with that Phoenix news and how the positional eligibility works out there. Plus, now we got Dennis Schroeder as well. What's his price over on FanDuel?
I just took my stuff off point guard to get ready for the next one.
Sorry.
He's where'd he go? Sorry,
4K flat on DraftKings. He's projecting for about 24 fantasy points now. And you were right. Actually, Evan Mobley does project a little bit better than James Harden does. I think I'm going to boost that up because I want to get to a ton of Harden as well. I'm going to play at least 50% of both of them, but definitely going to want to get a lot of those guys. Merrill and Schroeder still going to limit to
Schroeder's 4,300 on FanDuel.
Yeah, so still absolutely in play over there as well. Take us over to shooting guard.
Yeah, it's going to be the top guys are going to be important here. So that's going to be James Harden. That's going to be Devin Booker. That's going to be Jalen Green, Tyler Hero, all the same ones over at point guard mostly. Norman Powell, you can play here. 6,600 is a nice tag on FanDuel, but you're probably going to want to play him at small forward. Same as goes for Asar Thompson, who's going to be capped on minutes. He's not going to play a bunch of minutes, but he should have much higher usage now when he's on the floor. And this is against Washington. And he's someone who can stuff the stat sheet really quick on the defensive end. And then if he's picking up more offense, the limited minutes may be fine, but he's probably going to be capped at like 25 minutes. But still a good play, I think. And Gillespie again, like we said, Sam Merrill, Jenkins is falling down now. Just because his price is a little higher. So the best plays are Harden, Booker, Green, Hero, and Gillespie. Those are my favorite plays.
Nothing wrong with that there. We did just get a late questionable tag added for Stephon Castle. He's been downgraded to questionable. So bump up De'Aaron Fox, potentially bump up Devin Vassell. I think both of them become interesting, but Fox especially the one that would benefit there. Small forward, who do you like?
Well, if Kawhi plays, Kawhi is going to look really, really good here. If also Norman Powell, like I said, he just priced nice, and the Lakers are going to be going for this game now. I think this game is going to be competitive. So, Powell's usage has been really strong. He's back in the starting lineup now. He's getting better coming back from his injury. 6,600. The ownership is high, but the price tag is dictating that. So he's got a good ceiling in this spot against the Lakers. Asar Thompson, like I said, this is where you probably play him small forward. So it'd be Leonard, Powell, Asar. Jordan Miller is a guy I really like with Mathurin out. And you know what? I think it's fine either way. With Kawhi, he might actually even be better with Kawhi because he'll be doing the second unit, and they'll probably be, I think they're in a lot of trouble if Kawhi doesn't play this game. But I like him. He gets buckets, so I like him. Brandon Miller is not bad. Ownership is probably going to be coming down on him now that there's all these plays just kind of opened up all around. Tobias Harris wouldn't surprise me if he soaks up a lot of that usage. You have to be careful with how you play all these Detroit guys, but it is Washington, and he's 5,500, and Cade is out, and he can score. So you have to consider him. And then Trey Murphy, I think, is going to be he's probably going to be very low on now that he's just because of his price tag.
Kind of all these Detroit guys are a little bit cheaper over here outside of Dennis Jenkins than they are on DraftKings. Sam Merrill cheaper as well, 4,300. I really like him. And then just keep an eye on these Clippers guys. Like if we happen to get Kawhi Leonard ruled out, not only will it bump a guy like Collins, but a lot of these small forward shooting guard eligible players like Jordan Miller or Kobe Sanders, Derek Jones Jr. A lot of these guys are going to look quite a bit better as well. Power forward, who do you like? Yeah. And there it is, Kawhi out.
All right, so let's pull up our if we have one done for Kawhi. I bet we do, but if Kawhi's out, okay. So the best FanDuel values in this situation that we have here for projection wise is going to be Brooke Lopez. Gets a looks like a strong play over on FanDuel, and then it's Chris Dunn and Jordan Miller and your boy John Collins. I think Isaiah Jackson could be like an interesting like blowout scenario type of guy with the second unit. I think he could work out, but those are the plays. And I'm with Kawhi out, I'm kind of scared, but I do think that Jordan Miller is going to be needed to score. He's somebody who can get buckets, so he's kind of my favorite now out of all of them.
Yeah, I like Jordan Miller a lot today as well. Two teams. I'm limiting basically every team on this slate to a max 2, except for Cleveland and the Clippers. These are going to be the 2 teams that I'm just like absolutely loading up on a ton today. Everybody else totally fine with limiting it to like a max 1, a max 2, something like that, just because there are so many strong plays just in those 2 games alone. Power forward. Or sorry, that was power forward. Center. Who you like?
Jalen Duren, no matter what. So he's number 1. And wait, did I do power forward? I don't think I did. I think I did small forward. But all right, let me go over power forward quickly because all I got to say really is just Mobley's my guy, period. And then over to center, Jalen Duren's my guy. And then if you don't want to play him or you want to take shots on other people, I think Goga's in play. You probably like him more than me, but that price tag is $3,700 is pretty damn low. Brolo, $4,400. I could see it happening. Bam, definitely could give it to Ayton. So I like that. And Diabate gets a better matchup now for Charlotte here. I think he's in play at 5,300. But man, I just think Duren and Mobley are just so much stronger than any other plays on the slate. And I guess we should consider Nick Richards with Jalen Smith out.
I'm still getting to a ton of Batatse, but I'm no longer lock buttoning him anymore. That's something I'm just kind of avoiding because of the amount of value that we just had pop up. And so I still am going to get a lot of Goga Batatse, but certainly not a lock button play for me anymore. I like the idea of throwing Richards in there too. I think that's a good call, but I'm with you. I would throw in, I think you can play John Collins here, and then I like Goga, but outside of that, it's Mobley number 1 for me with Duren coming in behind at number 2. And then we have a ton of value on the slate. Nobody's going to be doing it. Play some Wemby because I think he's going to be incredibly low owned today, and he is a very, very strong play.
They have nobody can stop him, and I don't know if you guys remember like that. So Phoenix has scoring. Phoenix can keep up for a while in this game. I don't know if you guys remember that when he played the like B team Lakers, when he had like he went absolutely nuclear for the first half, and I could see him being in this situation, and then Phoenix still somewhat keeping it close because they just have nobody that can really guard him, period.
Especially if we get Stephon Castle out. Because like that's going to bump the usage rate up as well. I like that quite a bit today. People asking about Donovan Mitchell. The report is that he is unlikely to play. So we don't know 100% that he is out, but the report from the beat writer was that he is unlikely to play.
Yeah, that was a quote from Atkinson. So
from the coach. There you go. So
yep.
We are projecting Donovan Mitchell as out, not expecting him to play. I'm just got my last set of lineups coming in here. We're going to take some questions, get them into the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat, get them in the YouTube chat. YouTube, make sure you are smashing that like button for us. Let's start taking some questions here. My first question is for you. Who are you feeling in the plums? Who's breaking the slate tonight?
Well, Duren, I think, but he's so chalky, but I don't care. So I think you're going to need him, period. If you want to mess around, I think the other way I think Wemby is going to absolutely nuke now. I think the way I've kind of thought about this matchup in my head. And I think he can get decent minutes because I think that Phoenix can still score. You have Booker and Jalen Green out there. You're going to be able to score. So I like Wemby. And then I think you have to play Mobley tonight. And that's another chalky guy, but I think he's going to absolutely nuke. So those are my three nukes.
Yeah, holy crap. Got a tight pool today. So I'm going, I have 81% Mobley, 70% Jenkins, 66% Harden, 48% Dunn, 47% Kobe Sanders, 44% Jordan Miller, 41% John Collins, and then 39% each for Fleming and Batatse. This could be fun. This is going to be
fun. And a caveat, I'm going to back the Jordan Miller too in my plums play.
I like it. We are on
a lot of plums tonight, unlike Colin. Shout out to One Nut Colin.
Shout out to One Nut Colin. All right. Questions. RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. First, rank the value pieces on DraftKings. Who would you fade? For me, it is number 1, Dennis Jenkins. Number 2, Chris Dunn. No, number 2, Jordan Miller. Number 3, Chris Dunn. 4, Batatse. 5, Fleming. Who would I fade? I feel like Chris Dunn's probably the one I'd be most likely to fade of that group. How about you?
I would fade Goga just because I think the ceiling that Duran has could absolutely wipe the floor and hurt you for missing out on it. So that would be my fade. But I also wouldn't mind fading Chris Dunn either at ownership.
All right, let's see. FanDuel GPP favorite spend up and also favorite sneaky play. Favorite overall spend up, I think for both of us is Mobley, with maybe Duran edging him for you. But who would be your favorite sneaky play over on FanDuel?
I mean, let's think here. I think sneaky play is going to be Tyler Hero. I don't think he's going to get that much ownership. Well, actually, he's pretty cheap. 7,600. He's probably sneakier on DraftKings, but I'll stick with it anyway. He's sneaky enough.
I'm also going to just make sure I get an absolute ton of Luka Doncic here in my next build as well.
Yeah, Luka.
There's no reason.
That's where the Goga is going to come in. But you can play. I mean, I was making it before. You could even play. You can play Wemby, Duran, and Mobley. So if you wanted, if you take out Wemby and put Goga in there or something, and then you just sub Luka, it's easy too.
Yeah,
easy
absolutely.
peasy.
DKGPP, Trey Murphy, Evan Mobley, or Braun and Harden?
Give me the first, Trey Murphy and Mobley.
Yeah, I think that is the side that I would go with there as well. What about Norman Powell or Sadiq Bey for a DKGPP? I'm on the Bey train tonight. I think I like him quite a bit more than Powell. How about you?
I think that he's a sneakier play, Sadiq Bey. I think Powell's a good play, but he's coming with a lot of ownership. What do you have Sadiq coming in at? Well, he's going to get some ownership too. I think they're both solid plays.
Kobe Sanders, Goga Batatse, straight up. Who you guys want? Who you want?
Goga.
Jenkins, Dennis Jenkins, or De'Aaron Fox, Deep K GPP?
If Castle is out, I think you got to. I don't know. I think Jenkins is going to ham too. It's Washington. I'd probably still lean Jenkins.
Yeah, I think I would too. Any Nick Richards, not a target for me, but somebody I am absolutely willing to keep in the pool. Seems like we have hit all the questions in the YouTube chat already. Will Jones or Derek Jones Jr.? Back to the Discord.
Sorry, Will. Who was the first? What did you say? Will Riley?
Will Riley or Derek Jones Jr.?
I'm going to say Riley. They're both fine.
I think that is the way that I would go as well. We've hit all the questions. We still got a couple minutes left here until lock, but I think Austin Reeves is the only news we're waiting for now. Austin Reeves, game time decision. Stephon Castle has been downgraded to questionable. Both of those still going to be pretty important because if Castle's out, De'Aaron Fox, significant bump. Wemby, a little bump. I also think that brings Devin Vassell and even Dylan Harper maybe in play a little bit.
I've got to play. I want to just talk it out with you.
Maybe.
This guy's been the easiest fade for like the entire season. And it's Zion, right? Just never gets there.
Yeah, he's been dreadful lately.
But with DeJounte out and him, like, who's going to stop him with no Kawhi or like anybody? If the problem with him is he can have like a really awesome like first 2 quarters, and then he's just so lazy in like the second half. Like it's so tilting watching him. But like in theory, who could really stop him on the Clippers in this game? Like he should be able to do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah, he should basically every night though.
I know. So it's like that's the thing. It's like like keep making the same stupid mistake over and over again. Definition of insanity.
Lippy in chat saying he's riding Zion. I doubt it. I don't think he's Zion's type, and so I don't think that's going to happen. Jalen Green or Desmond Bane, DK GPP single entry. Who do you want?
Who is it? Green?
Green or Bane?
Green.
Stephon Castle is out. So get your Stephon Castle out of the lineups. De'Aaron Fox, I think, becomes a much, much stronger play. And you can now look at guys like Devin Vassell, Dylan Harper, and same thing with Victor Wembanyama. Becomes a very, very strong play now.
Good call on Vassell. He's the sneaky play.
Yeah, I think I admittedly was only thinking about him because I started him in my season-long fantasy finals, which I'm in this week, and so that's what popped him in my brain. But I do like some Devin Vassell as well. Luka and Kobe Sanders or Sadiq Bey and James Harden?
Give me Luka, I guess, but I think they're better. I think you have 2 stronger plays over with Harden. But I think Kobe's going to get his opportunity, and Luka is just on another level right now.
For what it's worth, Dylan Harper projecting incredibly well now. Dylan Harper got a 28.6 point projection, so he's actually now projecting as one of these stronger value plays on the slate. Kobe Sanders or Fleming straight up on DK?
I mean, Sanders is the correct play, but like a sneakier play would, if you're trying to deep large field GPP, then go Fleming.
All right. FanDuel GPP, you want De'Aaron Fox and Derek Jones or Jalen Green and Asar Thompson?
Green and Asar Thompson.
All right. We have seconds remaining until lock. Can I get my new build with more Dylan Harper in time? We are copy and pasting in the CSV right now. Let's see. Oh, no, we didn't make it. It is now 7 p.m. Lock has hit. Right in front. And so, alas, I'll try and get a little bit more of that in after lock here with a little bit of late swapping. But other than that, I think we have done it. We have hit all of the questions in YouTube. We got one more on DK, and then we'll get out of here. You want Fleming and Fears or Sanders and Vassell? I think I like that Sanders Vassell side.
Yeah, I think Vassell is sneaky. So give me Vassell.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in this week. We will see you again tomorrow for some more NBA. We are 1 week away from our first MLB show. We are almost there. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. We will see you next time. On behalf of myself, Kirkdiese, and Steve, peace.